With just months until the 2022 midterm elections, misinformation experts, civil rights advocates, and researchers are worried that social media companies are unprepared to deal with the potential onslaught of falsehoods about the election. We saw a slew of policies put in place before and during the 2020 presidential election, but those policies haven't cut down all of the misinformation, and in some cases have been revoked.
Midterm elections are harder than presidential elections for these platforms just because of what you said, 435 congressional seats, 30 some odd Senate races. I think it's some 30 odd gubernatorial races, state legislatures, others. It is much more, again, decentralized, which makes it both harder to know where to tackle, but also harder to keep track of.
For instance, more than 100 Republican primary winners in statewide or congressional races have backed the false claim that the 2020 election was rigged, with many doing so online, according to the Washington Post. Additionally, the New York Times found that the film 2000 Mules, which falsely claims the election was stolen from former President Donald Trump, had more than 430,000 interactions on Facebook and Instagram by June. What's more, these online narratives are bleeding into the real world. An NPR investigation found that since the January 6th insurrection, 4 prominent election denialists have held more than 308 events, often small and at the grassroots level, across 45 states and the District of Columbia.
As long as we're talking about US-based tech companies that are running on algorithmic amplification of whatever is most viral and trending, this is a systemic issue that will never be fought, because it's always in the interest of platforms to amplify, at least to a certain extent, and to intervene a little too late, because you still want the spread, right? And you still want engagement metrics to rise.
Joseph Vitacho helped author a letter from more than 120 civil society groups to 7 major social media companies, noting that, quote, disinformation related to the 2020 election has not gone away but has continued to proliferate. The letter's demands included consistent enforcement of civic integrity policies during both election and non-election cycles, and prioritizing enforcement around combating what they call the big lie that says Trump won the 2020 election.
A lot of the disinformation that we're seeing now is really recycled content from the big lie, but it's packaged in new ways that is getting more and more attention. So when we're talking about the 2022 election cycle, we're seeing a lot of candidates now preemptively declare voter fraud. And this is based primarily off the big lie. Actually, a lot of candidates are using the big lie as a platform plank.
Another challenge to moderating 2022 midterm misinformation is the rising popularity of video content on social media. According to a Pew Research poll, as of mid-2021, more than 80% of Americans say they use YouTube, and TikTok is now the most popular website in the world.
There are 3 main challenges. The first is that live video is incredibly difficult to moderate because it's live. The second, as I mentioned, is just the complexity of video data relative to text data. You know, the ability to classify these data at scale are relatively underdeveloped compared to sort of text data. And the third is that, you know, external researchers, journalists, civil society groups, we don't have the sort of resources or capacity to deal with video data right now. And so I think what we've seen is it's taken sort of an all of society effort to hold social media companies responsible in sort of text form, when we saw text as the main way that information spread.
For former Facebook employees like Harbath, the situation is too little too late. What's important, however, is to start thinking about the next set of elections.
We should have started thinking about the 2024 election a couple months ago, in all honesty, and be thinking about that through the lens of the midterms and how you keep that thorough point continuing. Because we know that the 2024 election is going to start maybe even before the midterms start, but immediately afterwards.
Tyler Adkison, Chicago.
Conspiracy theories are full of misinformation. We're looking at how and why they catch people's attention. Next on The Race.